businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
When you live a tobacco-free life, you're free to live more fully. You're free to be more active and to breathe easier when you are, to be more present with family and friends, and to enjoy food and drinks more fully without nicotine dulling your senses. Tobacco-free can mean better physical health, mental health, and financial health. Giving up tobacco can give you more life. Learn more at quitnow.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
In Nebraska, we show up when friends need help. We check in on our neighbors. That's why it's important to know the warning signs of suicide. If you have a friend or neighbor who's withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talks about suicide, find out how you can help. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. You have the power to save a life. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome in. Happy Sunday. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. We got the host, as always, Mike and Sherry, here on the Sunday after a Husker football win. We also got a great guest coming in studio here shortly. But in the meantime, throw it over to the host, Mike and Sherry.
Thanks, Harrison. We are so glad to be here. We took Sunday off last week, being that it was Labor Day.
Yep.
But welcome to What's Next with our wonderful producer, Harrison, my amazing husband, Mike. We're on 93.7 The Ticket FM. Each week, we highlight people making a difference in our community. Teachers, coaches, first responders, and everyday leaders and everyday people. Our goal is to provide hope and inspire listeners with positive changes that inspire your life and stories that need to be told. What do you think of that, Mike?
Oh, that's awesome, Sherry. Thank you. Good morning. What a great day today. What a great night last night. What did you think of the ball game, Sherry?
Well, it was a good game. I mean, I think
just
that
a good game.
Huh?
It was a great game.
Did
you see the score?
Are you new? Yes, I saw the score. I saw our offense looking amazing. Yeah. Our defense kicked butt like no other. Can I say butt, Harrison?
FTC's
okay,
good.
Good. That's good. Okay. And it was an amazing game. And I'll tell you what, and I don't know if you've seen it, you probably have, but at the end of the game, one of our players on national TV proposed to his girlfriend, and that was pretty amazing and pretty romantic. I'm hoping that this man over here to my left took note of some of that romance.
I certainly will, Sherry. I certainly will. No, it was an exciting game. It was fun to see. It was exciting to see a lot of new players and what's going on.
Yes.
But today, Sherry.
Today's a whole new day.
And today's a whole new day.
Yesterday was about football. Today is about a whole different, amazing sport. Today's about volleyball. Hey, Mike, why don't you tell us who our guest is today?
Why don't I? Today on What's Next, we're honored to welcome a Nebraska legend, John Baylor. For over 30 years, John's been the unmistakable voice of Nebraska volleyball, calling 5 national championships and bringing unmatched energy to every broadcast. He's also the founder of On to College, a nationally recognized test prep program that helps thousands of students raise their ACT and SAT scores and to unlock college opportunities with less debt. John is a broadcaster. He's an educator and author, and a mentor whose passion for excellence and community has made a lasting impact across generations. Whether you're behind the mic or in the classroom, he's all about helping others reach higher levels. So let's dive in. John, good morning.
Good morning. He's also a little bit late.
That's okay.
That's
all
okay.
Right.
Well, you know what? We'll take you late rather than not take you at all.
We figured with all that Husker going on last night in games and what's going on today, you need a little extra sleep.
Well, I rarely sleep in, so this is unusual. And the one day I do sleep in, I had a 7 a.m. appointment, and I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
But that's okay because as much as you do in your personal life, your work life, and your professional life, you deserve to sleep in.
And John, how you could make that in 7 minutes? I don't know how you did that.
Thank you, LPD. I'm a big fan.
John, let's jump in. I know it's early Sunday morning, but and you've been so gracious. I got to tell you, we've had a lot of shows this last year, a lot of guests, but I am so pumped up for today because of who it is, John Baylor. You're so humble and you're so kind and you have done so much, but I want to just have you, if you don't mind sharing, the audience may not know about John Baylor, the early years. Can you just share a little bit about the background? Early years.
I was born at the old Lincoln General Hospital. I'm not even exactly sure.
Oh my goodness, really?
Before the new one now on South Street. At least I was told that. I have no memory of it. And then I grew up here in Lincoln, in South Lincoln, and I was going to go to Sheridan School, and my mom and my father divorced when I was 4, and my mom was from the Boston area. She took all 6 of us children back there, and I stayed with her. And then at the end of my 2nd grade year, so 3 years later, I returned to live just with my dad here in Lincoln. And 3 years later, I went back, yo-yoing back to Boston.
Oh, my goodness.
To stay with just my mom. So I was just living alone with my mom and with none of my siblings. And that's the way it was really the rest of my adolescence. So I would come back and play Little Chiefs baseball. I'd come back and play American Legion baseball. So I'd be back for 2 months every summer. I'd come back every Christmas. So I had this connection with Lincoln. Mm-hmm. But my childhood was largely in the Boston area. And then I went to college out in California. And after college, I had a ton of student loan debt. This is sort of a harbinger of my career later. And I thought, I got to take a job that pays me pretty well. And I had a couple other interesting jobs. Didn't pay me very well. And so I took a job on Wall Street, which I was very glad I did, although I didn't enjoy it a lot, but I learned a ton. So I'm very grateful for it. And so I'm out on Wall Street. I was working on a trading floor for a company called Bankers Trust. And I had a friend from high school who was running the Columbia, Barnard, Gilbert and Sullivan troupe. And so they didn't have enough guys. So I was actually acting for Columbia at night in my charcoal suit. And that was just I did 4 shows with Columbia kids, Barnard kids up there in the Upper West Side. And after about 2 years, I really had caught the acting bug. And so I volunteered for a layoff and decided I want to go try to be an actor. And my dad was a little horrified, but you're 24, you make these choices. Furthermore, I knew long term that banking wasn't for me. It's a critical profession, noble profession, but it wasn't going to sort of move my heart. And at that point, my college debt was paid for. I had no obligations. I was in perfect health. I'm thinking, if I'm ever going to ask anyone to chase their dreams, I better be willing to do it myself. Mm-hmm. And so then I 6 months tried it in New York City, sleeping on people's sofas. And then a friend of mine in LA had a apartment, and back then there were no cell phones. So he's like, I forget, I guess he was writing me letters, or maybe he was calling me long distance, which was very expensive unless it was like Sunday mornings. And he's telling me he's looking for a roommate in LA. I'm thinking, okay, that sounds like it's another adventure. And you're thinking this sounds a little bit flighty, but I had a plan. I was thinking when I was being a banker, this probably isn't for me. Furthermore, very importantly, I intersected with lawyers in that job. And my dad had been a lawyer. My sister was a lawyer. My older brother was a lawyer. And so I just assumed I was going to be a lawyer. I really didn't know what they did, but it looked, again, like a respectable profession. You'd use your brain a lot. You'd make a contribution. I thought, maybe I'd come back to Omaha and be a lawyer someday. That was kind of a very vague, undefined plan. And while I was working in New York, I learned what lawyers really did. And I thought, that's not for me. So that's when I got the idea. I want to be a high school teacher. And then lastly was, okay, if I'm going to be a high school teacher, what's the rush? I mean, I can be a high school teacher when I'm 29 or 30. I'm only 24. Let's go chase some dreams here. And so then I tried to be an actor and ultimately a sportscaster, and never got to that full time.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I want to ask you on this acting thing. Did you ever make it to any big shows that people would recognize, or were you just kind of?
The answer is no. I was in a Spanish champagne commercial.
Oh, glory!
With what's her name, Sharon Stone and Anthony Banderas.
Well, that's a big one.
I was very much background. I don't think they'd say they were with me. I was going to be in a Gillette commercial, which would have paid me quite well, but it happened to coincide with another commitment I had that day. So I stupidly did not go back for a second callback. It looked like I was going to get that one. Anyway, as you can see, I was very much in the nascent stages of what I think could have been a decent career, but I also learned doing that. I'm so glad I did it. All my friends were going to business school and law school, and here I was trying to be an actor in LA. That even while doing it, in the essence of the doing, I wasn't loving it. And so I'm thinking, okay, if I'm doing it for other reasons, fame, recognition, probably meeting famous people, I don't know. Maybe this isn't for me. And while I was out there in Los Angeles, I was in a play, and I met a guy who was doing newscasting for a local cable TV outlet once a week, volunteer. And he said, our sportscaster just left. Why don't you try out for that? And I did, and I got that. And that was non-paying. I don't want to make anyone too excited. But that led to doing Cal State Dominguez Hills games, Torrance, California high school games, all on television. And out in Los Angeles, you have a lot of pretty famous people, ex-athletes and things, who are trying to get in. So I worked with Ron Pitts, who was a dear friend of mine, who had played for the Bills. His dad was Elijah Pitts, who was pretty Hall of Famer, played for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, so he's a former UCLA guy. So those are the kind of people I was intersecting with while, again, trying to just get on to the first step of a sportscasting career, not really knowing where all this is leading, assuming I was going to go be a high school teacher someday. And then for a variety of personal reasons, professional reasons too, I realized I'm never going to get great with this intermittent sportscasting. I need regular daily repetition. So I need to go to a small market. If that's the case, why don't I go back to Lincoln, Nebraska, where I had family, and I soon thereafter got a job offer from Jim Rose for $1,200 a month and $75 a game, and
my goodness,
I took it.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. First of all, John, I think that's really very brave of you. I mean, to be young and to just say I'm going to New York or I'm going to LA. How did you do it? For young kids what's one thing to say they're going to do it, but to do it. And to survive. I love the story, by the way, that you were waiting tables too, right? Is this correct?
Sure. Yeah.
I wanted to hear that.
I wanted to hear the story.
Okay, so I get to Los Angeles and I'm going through my savings in a hurry. And so I think, all right, well, let's go get a job waiting on tables, which I had actually done for a couple summers during high school. And I go to this place which is brand new, 5-star restaurant. All the stars are going there. And it was called The Asylum. And it was on Robertson and Santa Monica Boulevard, close. And I go in to interview, and getting a waiting job in LA is like getting a big time acting job because there's so many wannabe actors who need that job. So,
starving actors.
And again, I was naive. I just got into Los Angeles. I didn't realize my chances were next to nil. Well, I start interviewing with the manager. Place has been open like a month, but it caught a lot of fire. Place was packed every night. And he says, I said, where are you from? I said, well, Boston and Nebraska. He goes, I went to the University of Nebraska. I'm like, really? Oh, I love Nebraska. I grew up in Nebraska. Next thing you know, I get the job. So I'm waiting on tables at lunch. And I remember I waited on tables for Bob Carey. He was in town talking to oh goodness, the producer who did All in the Family. I recognize them both. I can't think of his name right now. And I remember that, and I have a few other celebrities, whatever.
Oh, Norman Lear?
Norman Lear.
I saw Norman Lear and Bob Carey at the same table. I don't know if I should share that, but I think it's 50, 40 years, 30 years have passed. I can do that. And I think they're going to put together a movie about him because, he was he was such a national name. And I don't know. I kind of overheard a little bit of that. Who knows? Anyway, that was one of probably 6 days I worked there, because on the 6th day, I spilled a bunch of champagne glasses full of champagne on an executive. I learned later was a CBS executive. And I got a call that night from my friend who is the University of Nebraska alumnus and said, "I'll let you go." So
John. Well, let me ask you this. We wrote a book on called Next 24, and it's about how, in terms of, we all can make changes. We all share 24 hours in a day, and the choices that we make. I didn't have my parents get divorced, but I've seen a lot with young kids that get divorced. Did that have what kind of impact did that have on you as a young man?
A lot. I at the time thought it was beneficial for me, because when I lived alone with my mom in Massachusetts, she wasn't doing particularly well, and I was making a lot of decisions. And I was 12 years old, so I was deciding what we're having for dinner, what we're having for meals that week. I could have stayed out all night if I wanted.
You became the man of the family.
A little bit, yeah.
And I from a divorce very young, and you have to step into certain roles.
And she ultimately had really a personal renaissance, so she turned out wonderfully. That was a tough stretch for her and me, but I didn't know any different. So I just thought the strong teenager I became, at least on the outside, was the product of those difficulties and adversity prior to that. But then when you get older, you realize, wow, that wasn't normal. And in many ways, I felt really on my own, not just during that stretch, but later, like those years when I was going to college, the years when I was in New York. I mean, really, my parents did the absolute best they can. But with all parents, you take the good and you leave the bad. And again, I always knew I was loved. I admire them in so many ways, but they were products of the Depression. They weren't the most demonstrative with their affection. And so, but I did know they loved me. I did know they were there for me, but often I was genuinely on my own.
Reason I bring that up to you too is that in my own life, while I was a product of, my father was 48, my mother was 42 when I was born.
Wow.
And my brother was 18 years older than me. My sister was 13 years older than me. And
only child.
Yeah.
He might have been a baby. We're not sure.
Kind of grew up that way. And I always had, when they of course passed away, just a sense of loss. And I really had to find some inner strength to make choices. I had to make, like you just said.
Yeah.
You had to make decisions on your own and what you're going to do. What I'm curious, John, did you have good mentors or people along the way when you were young that you looked up to, that guided you? Or did you feel you were just solely on your own?
The answer is yes. And I say this to adults often, that it's just remarkable the impact you can have on a young life if you just intervene at the right moment. And Doesn't take a lot. You don't have to have a big bank account. Just have to have a big heart, but also you have to have observant eyes and sense when someone's a little adrift, and maybe when parents are a little overwhelmed. And that was back then. Now, so much more complicated. I was in middle school. Back then we called it junior high.
Mm-hmm. I remember those days.
I was living alone with my mom, and she had a best friend, and her name was Sylvia Constable, and they'd grown up together, and she'd always kind of kept an eye on me. She helped us a little bit financially every month. And she said she recognized my mom was not doing well again, and I'd probably have to come back to Nebraska, which was not a bad option. But she said my daughter went to this really wonderful boarding school called Middlesex School in Concord, Massachusetts, and she was in the first coeducational class. And I'd like you to come visit. Well, this is a school where back then, maybe 15% of the kids get in. And it was also very expensive. Well, in retrospect, it was very inexpensive, but at the time it felt very expensive. And so I went to visit that school with her, which was kind of fun. And I remember walking around, getting a tour of this gorgeous boarding school. And the tour guide was a junior. I was a freshman wannabe student. And we were walking through the gym, and I said, hold everything. These basketballs laying around here, like, they're available? Like, if I don't have a class, I can come back here and, like, shoot baskets? She goes, yeah. It's open. Like, I can come here and just play anytime I want. Yeah. And, like, they serve food 3 days a week? I'm sorry, three times a day? And I said, yeah. And you get shelter, you get housing, you live in one of those nice dorms? Yeah. I go, oh, my gosh. So then I go back to visit with her, and I go back, and we meet with the gentleman who's in charge, and see Sylvia Constable again. And I say, oh, I'm really interested in this. This sounds great. Well, ultimately I got in, but it was free. Like, it was paid for. I got a full scholarship. So not only got in, I got a full scholarship. So now fast forward to about 9 years ago, and Sylvia's in her late 80s, and I'm visiting her out in the Boston area. And I said, Sylvia, I've always wondered about Middlesex, which really changed my life. It was a 4-year school where I had, just everything taken care of, and I could just focus on myself. And I said, I just wonder how that was always free. And she said, well, Donaldson, you did that. You were a wonderful student and applicant. And I said, I appreciate that. Thank you, Sylvia. But I just wondered, do you know anything about that? Well, it was important, and you did great. And thank you. But I'm just wondering, did you know anything about how it was free for my family? She goes, I paid for that.
Oh, wow.
And so I've told that story probably 20 times, so I don't tear up like I used to, but it always gets me, because she saw her best friend from childhood struggling, who had a child who lived with her, and this child had potential. She knew a way to connect the child with something that could help that child flourish. Yeah. And she made it happen. And so not all of us can do that, what she did, but all of us have small and big ways that we can intervene and help young people. And then it's not just a life that changes, but then all the other lives that future life connects with. So,
well, you made me tear up. Thank you very much.
Well, it is amazing. And I got to say, before, I know we're going to take a break here in just a little bit, but I remember the first time I saw John Baylor, and I don't think I've told you this story. Of course, I went through divorce. I was divorced, moved back to Lincoln, took a part-time job at KLIN Radio in some sales, and I walk in and I see John Baylor and Patrick Combs early in the morning, and I hear this golden voice over here by John Baylor, and Patrick has pretty good voice too.
Deep pipes.
And I believe the show was called To the Point.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was the show's concept? Can you share that?
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of politics, city government.
To the point. 2 to 4. Yes. We were focused primarily on local issues, and we just wanted to bring them to light. We had thoughts, but we also wanted to have a lot of fun, but sure, hopefully make us a smarter city.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, I looked at the glass and I was just in awe of both of you and how you did the show and how it had chemistry, electricity in the air. It was a great show every morning. You could hear it through the building when you're on the air. Well, that was amazing. Do we have to take a break here, Harrison?
Yeah, we can take one unless you got one more question. Otherwise, we can take.
No.
I just have one thing I have to say. Researching you, and we research our guests.
Wow.
We don't stalk them. We research them.
Yeah.
But one thing that and listening to you this morning has really impressed me is the fact that you went to Stanford, your grade point average. What was your grade point average? I don't want to misquote. I thought Mike said 3.7, 3.8.
We can go with that.
We'll go with that.
But, it's hearing all that you went through, and the fact that you made it into Stanford. And I'm sure you made it in because of your intelligence. And the fact that, through everything else, and I'm sure that, and I know from experience, family situations continue to go on as you get older. Some things get better, some things get worse, some things stay the same. But I am really impressed that you continued on, that you made it through Stanford, it sounds like with honors.
I did okay. I'm proud of my academic record, but I'm particularly proud of what I accomplished in high school, frankly, because that's where I really took off. And again, because I suddenly had stability and I could just focus on geometry. I just focused on history class and writing
Well,
papers.
and the word you just said is the stability.
Yeah.
It's the stability. And if you're not getting it from, if you have kind of a discombobulated home life, that you were given opportunities to find that stability in other ways.
A lot of young people live in chaos. I did not. I lived in instability at times, intermittent.
Right.
But a lot of young people live in chaos, and it breaks my heart. So, our schools have a lot of responsibility that they don't want to necessarily have, but it's foisted on them necessarily because of where a lot of the children come from. So anything we can do to make those kids realize they got a comfortable bed to go to at night, there's going to be food on the table, then they can do a lot better focusing on the math.
Absolutely.
With that, we need to take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk more with Mr. Volleyball here in just a minute.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers. Are your feet just killing you and you feel like all hope is lost? Say goodbye to discomfort and hello to pain relief at Brown's Shoe Fit. They offer expert advice along with high-quality products to help you find the right solution tailored to your specific needs. Need a different width? Not a problem. Brown's carries a wide range of widths in store. Brown's Shoe Fit on 66th and Q in Lincoln. Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show. Sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at zollnerofbeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2. What's Next 24? We got guest John Baylor in studio, as well as the host, as always, Mike and Sherry. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. Put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, X, Owl, Channel 961. With that being said, go to the host.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back with John Baylor, and our show's called What's Next. John, I'm just so thrilled to have you here today. I really am. Let's just jump in due to time. I really want to get into this because I know it's such a critical point in your life. The people that you met at Broadcast House, that was an influential person. Let's start. Who would you like to start with, I guess? How would you like? The Warner family?
The Warners allowed it.
Where do you start?
Well, the Warners allowed all of it because they gave Patrick and me a lot of discretion, and that show, to the point, I think had a really big impact. I'm very proud of it. We made mistakes. We weren't perfect, but it was a pretty remarkable show for a market size of 72nd largest.
Well, it was. I think about that. How old were you?
I was 27.
27 years old.
Yeah.
27. I mean, that's when you look back now. It doesn't. Back then, it just seems natural. 27.
So big thank you to the Warners for giving us so much rope. They rarely reined us in, and they always defended us because we bumped into a lot of powerful forces.
Yes.
And I just really didn't know the landmines we were stepping on. But I'm very proud of that show, and a lot of good things I think came from that show. And I still hear from people, and you always wonder what might have been if the new ownership hadn't come in and really broken that whole thing up.
Right.
But
absolutely,
none of it would have been possible without Jim Rose, because Jim Rose was the sports director at the time, and his need for a new sidekick coincided with the KLA and the Warner family getting the rights to Husker sports. And so Jim's thinking, okay, I need to back off all the high school stuff, hire someone to do that, who could join me on the talk show at night and help me with production for pregame and postgame for football and men's basketball. Then also KLA and produced women's basketball. So we needed probably someone to help him with play-by-play on that, and then baseball. So they chose me.
Yeah. Yeah. And, background, Jim's from Southeast High School. He went in, I think, into the Kansas City market. Did Husker sports, Husker football, alumni association work.
He should be in the Nebraska Radio Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
He does on KFAB at 22 and 52 past the hour is each morning is a work of art.
Yes.
And he has just a couple notes. There's no script.
Wow.
And every single one of those sports updates is provocative. You learn something from every 22 and 52 past each hour.
Yeah. And he's a historian, really.
Oh.
Written some books, knows so much about Husker history,
Yeah.
lore. What was that impact to you, though?
Well, Jim did something that I think is all too rare. Every week, he would pull out a tape cassette and pop it in and hit play. And it was 10 minutes of me on the air that week. I didn't know which 10. And he would candidly critique it. Well, I learned a lot.
On the air.
Yeah. Well, he would have recorded it without me knowing it.
Right.
And then say, okay, come on in Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock, and
Have
hit
a little
play.
meeting.
Oh, wow.
And then he'd hit pause. He'd play for a while, hit pause, and I'd be wincing because here I am hearing my work and, wow, this is not polished. This needs a lot of improvement. And then it would it was pretty self-explanatory, but he would also add ideas like, you got to do this. You got to get in and out of the breaks better. You got to hit your mark better. You can't run late. I mean, you got to be out by 59:50 or else the news stinger is going to hit and you're still talking. So it's very unprofessional. So they're the basics, but also there was a lot of enlightened advice that I've taken for.
So it was like watching game films a couple days after the
You
big
got it.
game.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got it. And
Jim's a perfectionist.
absolutely. And high standards. And I always had high standards, but working for someone who had exacting standards accelerated my progress.
John, jump into Bill Byrne. How did this begin? Let's get into the volleyball.
Well, Bill Byrne is just a remarkable athletic director. And it's pretty sad, actually, that during his reign here that he never felt appreciated. And, well, let's just say rarely he felt appreciated. He felt appreciated by the little people like me because he always knew our name. He always asked us how we were doing. He knew all the ticket takers' names at Memorial Stadium. But apparently I certainly wasn't involved in any of this. The big shots in town didn't know what they had.
Absolutely. And you know what? A lot of the fans did know what they had.
All we did was win while he was here in every way. From my vantage point, I'm sure there's some other people who have different opinions. Anyway, he came to Jim Rose and said, look, you guys are producing and actually doing the play-by-play for producing two of our sports across the network, football and men's basketball. You're doing the play-by-play for your own station of women's basketball and baseball. There's one other sport that is at KFOR actually across town, and they don't want to do it anymore. They backed away. And so we'd like you to take that on as well. And so Jim said, great, but John Baylor's going to do the games. And he said, okay, we'll ask Terry Pettit. And Terry hears the news and is not thrilled. He'd never heard of me. And he really liked the prior guy. Harvey Watson was his name. I never met Harvey Watson, who was very well regarded, apparently. And I'd never heard volleyball done in Lincoln. And so they had another meeting. Jim just told me this the other day, exactly how it went. And Terry was adamant. He's like, no, I want Harvey Watson. And Jim said, well, we can't have a KFOR announcer on KLIN. We want to get all the benefits of this. And so, sorry, this isn't going to work out. And Bill said, come on back. Let's figure this out. And so Terry's last words were, John Baylor better work out. And Jim said about 8 years later, so about 2 years after Terry had retired, when he was working for the athletic department, he saw Jim at, I think, Firethorn and walked up to him and said, that John Baylor, he worked out.
Absolutely. And now fast forward. I mean, let's talk about this. You've been doing this 32 years.
Yes. And I just want to say one more thing.
Yes.
I interviewed Terry Pettit before and after every match. So that was 4 times a week. And then I did a weekly show with him. So I interviewed him 5 times a week all fall. And he's another person who does not suffer fools. And that really accelerated my progress. You couldn't just go in there and wing it.
Well, I watched you. Are you still doing your podcast with Terry?
No, he interviews me occasionally.
Or he interviews you. It's called Leader's Mind.
The Coach's Mind.
Coach's Mind.
Something like that.
I saw it the other day, and I was just so impressed with the details that Terry talks about. You were talking about, I saw the podcast, you're talking about different players, different positions, different rotations, and he's just nailing everything.
He's a volleyball savant, of course. Yes. 694 wins in 25 years, national championship, and countless conference championships.
But what I think is amazing about you, John, I just got to stop you there. You have had the special seat. You have seen 30 years of history, 5 national championships.
A box seat to the greatest show on Terraflex.
Terraflex.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
So tell me real quick, you jump in the seat. You told me you didn't really know that much about volleyball. It had to be a crash course.
Absolutely. I didn't know what I was doing. And I I'd seen some volleyball at Stanford. I'd called 2 television games at UC Dominguez Hills, Cal State Dominguez Hills, excuse me. But this was all new, and so I would visit with Kathy Noth on a regular basis. I would talk to Peggy Meyer, whose daughter Kaylin Meyer played for the Huskers a little bit, and then went on to track glory and hopefully the Olympic team soon. And they taught me a lot.
Harrison, we've got time. Let's play that sound clip.
Absolutely. We'll see if Baylor, he probably knows exactly what call this is as well.
Let's just hear how good this is.
Big Red. The serve comes to the Huskers. And a pass by Kenzie Maloney. Over the net. Joust at the net. Controlled by Texas. Bump set left. Sarah made a big swing. Controlled by the Husker big. Nebraska's going to get a swing. Outside. Kelsey Bean. Off the block and off. They did it. Nebraska national champions. Nebraska's a national champion. Go celebrate. In 2015, the Big Red is best.
And the confetti falls from the ceiling and just drapes the Huskers.
Can't you believe it? A 3-set sweep over mighty Texas. 25-21.
Wow.
Can I just say, first of all, that gave me goosebumps.
Oh,
And I'm a little
goosebumps.
teary-eyed, but can I just say that I've heard you do games and stuff, but listening to that, you are the epitome of a Lyle Bremser.
Oh.
What you
you
are
are.
the epitome in volleyball of what Lyle Bremser was to football for Nebraska.
John, describe your style, if you can. I know we're putting you on the spot, but you have a unique style that people love to hear. We love to hear that every game, the excitement, the tone.
Funny.
Give us some insight to this.
It's so funny. And I'm so touched the way you reacted. Of course, I'm thinking to myself, could have done a little better there. Could have done a little better there. That's just my perfectionist approach. My style. I just always have wanted to do it my way. I'll take you back. I was doing the 1994 Big 8 baseball tournament with Gary Sharp, and we were on a talk show between games, and I forget the name of the guy who ran the talk show. He's a legend down there in Oklahoma City. And he was just so wacky and cracking jokes and being sarcastic. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be that way because that's the way I am in real life. And so it kind of from that moment on, I thought, I just want to be myself on there. I'm going to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't want people to think, oh, you remind me of someone, although Lyle Bremser, I'll take that one. Lyle Bremser. I want people to think, oh, that's John Baylor. And so whenever I have an opportunity for fun, laughter, joke, an analogy, going off topic, but not for too long, I think the audience really enjoys that. I know I do. I know when an announcer makes a quip or an analogy, it makes me think. I'm grateful. But when they can make me laugh or even smile, I'm just beyond grateful. And so I try for that because that's what I do in life. You know, sometimes my family thinks, you know, I search for the humor too often, which is valid. But on the air, I think it's a nice escape from what is already an escape.
But you have to have that to relate to the fans, to the team, to the coaches. Good, dear old friend of mine, Dave Weber. I'm hoping you know him. I assume you know him. But Webbs, that's the way Webbs has always been. You know, you would watch him on TV, and he would give his co-announcers, you know, especially Rossi. I mean, he would be sarcastic with them. He would be funny.
So fun. It's relatable.
Even unfair. Absolutely. You know, even on air, when he'd be down here at the doing things from the state, or not the station, from the stadium.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what makes announcers like you and Webbs and other people, and even the Nationals, Pat McAfee. That's what makes them an icon.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Harrison, I got to ask you, you're a young man getting into the radio. Do you have a good voice? What do you think when you hear his style? What's your quick thought?
Yeah, I just say same thing. It just keeps. The best way I can say it is like the worst thing you can do is when the announcer doesn't sound engaged themselves.
Yes.
When you listen to John Baylor, it's engagement from the first set all the way. If it takes all the way through 5, there's never a drop of energy. And I think that's the best thing you can do is like when you're listening to a game, when it first starts off, can you bring that energy and can you maintain it regardless of what's going on throughout the match? And sometimes easier said than done. Like for instance, yesterday with Husker football, if you were calling for Akron, say him. But no, I think that's the best part is just the energy stays consistent through the entire thing. And you can hear the engagement.
Thank you. like if you're interested, the audience is interested. If you're not interested, the audience is not interested. I listened to a show on, raising butterflies. If someone was fascinated by raising butterflies.
Absolutely.
Tell me, John, you've like you said, you've got this best seat. How do you describe Husker volleyball? This dynasty. You go down to Bob. How do you describe the Bob Devaney now? Look at the Bob Devaney. My gosh, it's a palace.
Yes, it's a culture of excellence that affects everyone who's a part of it. I have I get to go into it and then I leave it because I call the games. But those who inhabit it 24/7 just organically embrace and inherit that expectation. And it's really a unique operation in that sense, because think of the organizations many of us belong to, and rarely is there that culture of expectation that's also fun along the way. Sometimes there's a taskmaster who's expecting the best, and it's not a whole lot of fun. Other times it's a lot of fun, but we got mediocrity going on here. They have both simultaneously.
Oh, it's amazing.
I want to ask you something really quick. I know we're kind of on.
I'll take a break here in a minute.
We're on the volleyball thing. I want to just switch gears really quick, only because this is a little near and dear to my heart, because I do have grandchildren. One that just our first one we just sent off to Northwest Missouri State. But you have business. You're an entrepreneur, and you start a business called On to College.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it started as a survival job in Los Angeles. That whole acting career I told you about, not lucrative at all. And so I had to find a way to survive. Well, it clearly was a bad waiter. I told you about that story. I was a really good telemarketer. I hated it. And so then I stumbled onto tutoring, and very quickly I realized the opportunity was in test preparation out there. It was SAT test preparation. And I remember bumping into a young man who said, "Oh yeah, I quit the swim team so I could take a test prep class." And I said, I'm going to totally do it differently. And so rather than 40-hour class, I do, as we speak now, if everything involved, 12 and a half hour class. So I make it as efficient as possible, as fun as possible, as engaging as possible. And that just started a survival job in LA. And then when I got here, I was making so little money, I kept doing it on the side. And then in 2003, I flipped it, and I started doing the test preparation full time as my vocation, and then the broadcasting part time as my avocation. And then my thinking was, I'll just do this for 3 or 4 years as long as my dad's around. And my dad passed away in 2006, but by then they had invented this thing called the internet, and so it was not just John Baylor on his own going to schools or going to teach on Sunday nights and Monday nights in Omaha. It was something that could scale. So that's when I thought, okay, I never had a life motto. I just sort of thought to myself, I want to have fun and make a difference. And here I had this thing all these years that was a survival avocation that really was there the whole time. I just needed to have a few professional setbacks and reality checks to recognize it for what it was, a true vehicle to have fun and make a difference.
And I worked at Millard South.
Sherry, we need to take a break.
Oh, I'm sorry, Harrison. Sorry, you didn't play any music.
Yeah, we need to take a break. And
you
then
didn't give me the break sign.
We'll come back and talk more about the On to College.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers.
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Renza on September 23rd.
From the capital to castles, starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking top models from Can-Am, Kawasaki, Honda, Polaris, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycle, Sea-Doo, and Triton trailers. Score big on our massive selection of Can-Am side-by-sides with rebates up to $3,000 on select in-stock models. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for football season.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Midwest Bank is proud to serve Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank making local decisions, supporting community organizations, and helping businesses succeed, with 10 locations throughout the state, from Wisner to Deschler, Norfolk to York, and right here in Lincoln too. Whether you're opening a checking account, buying your first home, in need of an ag loan, or in search of cash management services for your business, we're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning. It's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All All right, welcome in. Final segment. What's next? 24. Here's the ones and twos. We got the host, Mike Cherry, and guest, the voice of Husker Volleyball, John Baylor. Real quickly from the text line, we do got Mississippi Mud Dog, and I'm curious how many people go through the same realization. It says, I did John Baylor test prep. Wish I knew who you were back then. Always get a kick out of listening to the volleyball games and knowing that you were in a classroom in front of me at one point in time. And I will say, I think that's how I came to realize you as well. You ever go to Hartington, Cedar Catholic?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, same scenario there. And I think Mississippi Mud Dog, myself, a lot of people make that realization later. But nonetheless, you guys got a little bit of time left. 402-464-5685.
And the realization is on the same person? Is that the realization?
Yeah, well, like you watch volleyball, right? And then you hear, like, you do the test prep.
And then you're like, oh, is that the same guy?
Yeah, and then eventually you realize, like, wait a minute, that was the same.
A lot of people think they're two different people. No. Same guy.
Sherry, go quick. You had a few things you wanted to say. About
Okay.
Baca? Did you want to mention
yes,
Baca
I
real
did.
quick?
Really, really super quick. Lincoln, the community of Lincoln, I have to tell you, I love you, but I am so disappointed with you right now. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because we have been touting, only on our show, we have been touting that we have a box in the lobby of this station. And a group, nonprofit group that we had on our show a few weeks back, Baca, Bikers, now I'm having a
Bikers Against Child
Thank
Abuse.
you. Bikers Against Child Abuse. My mind is racing. They are in desperate need. They are a nonprofit, and they do so much for these kids that are walking through abusive situations that have to go to court to testify against their abusers. They are in dire need of denim, any old denim jackets, any old denim vests. We've been touting this for quite a few weeks on our show, and there's a box sitting here. Go to Goodwill. Go through your closets, whatever you have, any sizes from small to large. We need this box full, and there has been nothing in this box.
We'll
so
get it.
please, 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 Lincoln, do what you do good. Do what you do best.
Yeah.
Get involved in this. It's so important. Now I'm going to shut up. Now I'm go
Very
on
good.
for
Thank you, sir.
minutes.
John, we've only got a few minutes left. I just want to really thank you so much for today. You coming in to do this because you are a legend. You've done great. Well, you've done. What do you think when you look back? You reflect back. What does all this mean to you?
It shows. I think my life shows the power of taking risks, especially in your 20s, because you have 5, 6, 7 decades to go. So it's really a time to chase adventures, to chase productive risks, things you might love. You do what you love. You never work a day in your life. Number two, I think it's the power of staying in a smaller community. I mean, I always assumed I'd end up in New York or some fancy big city. We got a lot of friends who do that. And I think there's a sense of anonymity there that I don't have, that I feel like I can make an impact here, and to some extent I have. So those are just two lessons.
We do this every week, John, on a show, and I think it's pretty special. But I want to turn the mic just over to you, and you can tell the community anything you'd like to say to the community. What would you like to say?
Oh, we have a wonderful city here. I'm very proud to be a part of it. And in the last 30 to 30 years when I've been here, it's just, I think, improved so much. I'm not surprised that we win all these awards. I think we have a culture of civility that the rest of the country would be jealous of. I don't see the mockery. I don't see the condescension here that is just endemic, systemic in the rest of our culture. And we can work together because we have so much more in common than that differentiates us. And I mean, curb cuts don't have to be polarizing. You know, when you're planning a city, you don't need everyone to be waving their ideological flags, and we don't here. So I'm grateful for that. We just have a culture of decency and good people, and we've lost a lot of people. My dad's generation had some pretty amazing people, Robert Spire and city leaders, Gates Minnick and people like that. And we need to replace them with decent, forward-thinking, community-minded people. And I think we've got a lot of good people to do that. Besides that, just recognize you can make an impact on young people, especially, but on yourself as well. And I'm a long way from being a practitioner of perfection myself. I make a lot of mistakes, but I usually wake up in the morning thinking, there's with all the uncertainty out there with technology and the imperfection out there and the grievances out there. It's amazing how we just have so many people whose outward expression largely is manifested as grievance and victimization, that there's so much power in each of us. Now, can we solve the Mideast crisis on our own? Probably not. But can we solve a lot of our own challenges? Possibly. Or the people we love in our lives challenges? Partially. Possibly. So, and there are always other people that have more struggles. I like to say when I teach, everyone in the nursing homes would trade places.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
John, real quick, how can people get a hold of you? I know you like to do some public speaking, a little motivational speaking, possibly, a little other things. How can people contact you?
OnToCollege.com, ONTO college.com, OnToCollege.com, and I'm at John at OnToCollege.com.
Don't forget, they've got a game today. What time? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock start, 12 p.m. pregame. Bring on the Cal, Berkeley Golden Bears.
There we go. All right. With
Go Big Red.
We'll see you next week. John, thank you. We need to do it again.
Look forward to it.